everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bread Back Podcast. I'm your girl, Remi Ray.
And it's me, the one and only White Yardie.
And we have a fantastic, special, amazing woman in the building.
Jenni
Steele.
Hey.
What's going on, lady?
Oh,
I like that. Do that again.
Yes. Sound effect of the place, that one.
Jenni.
Yes. How are we?
Listen, the lockdown has been...
Too much.
But you know I had to call in a good favour and get you down to discuss some serious topics, find out about what you're up to, just bless us. Our first ever guest.com. You and Harry clearly got the memo. You both rolled up in red.
The thing is that it's only when I turned up and I saw Jenni, you arrived, and I was like, I just remember Jenni always have on red.
Everything's
so
red.
It's almost like not even thinking about it. Mm-hmm. I did it, and
I like that.
I should have said to you, say, Jenni always wear red.
Do you know that I don't even own red? So
Is it?
she is not wearing red.
I
I think
never
I've got enough problems.
Well, I actually have quite a few red
I
items.
believe you. You
and
are
I
definitely Jamaican.
I don't even know how it comes. Like,
You're
yo,
not sure?
That's mad.
Being
The first
a whole
thing people
Yardie,
say
you're
to
not
me
sure?
is red my favourite colour, and it's not.
Oh.
It actually is not my favourite colour.
But you
but it
always
seems
wear
so.
red.
Red hair and all.
Yeah.
How did you end up here?
But I never used to wear red on red until recently because I thought it was a bit.
It's a bit much.
But
well,
now
you
I'm
and
like,
Harry are clearly in
Matching.
sync.
I like the reception.
Yeah, man. Red's
Even
a
the
warm
cups
colour
is
as well.
red. Love it.
Red's a nice warm colour still.
Of
man,
course,
I feel.
bold and warm.
Listen,
Yeah.
Just
Out
like
there,
me.
fire. Well, listen, I actually know Jenni for a while now.
You
Funny
do?
enough, I actually know Jenni since I've been doing this comedy career. You hosted an event, the UK Entertainment Awards,
Yeah.
which I was nominated at, and
Yeah, it was
That
like
was-
near enough the very first one.
it was one of the first ones. So that's where we first met, and you was there with your son as well.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, she does have a son,
yes.
like a big son, not no little son.
She has two,
Big,
yeah. She doesn't just have one.
Big. Let me say big. She have children, we have children. And I know
Yeah.
someone like, what? Yeah, man, Miss Jenni Steele is not your average.
Glamour.
Yeah, she's not a granny. When I say granny.
It's mad, isn't it? Imagine you guys sitting there going, so, what are you saying, Granny?
Yeah, like did any of them call you granny?
One
No.
calls me Gran and one calls me Nan. So
And you
Granny
know
and
correct them.
Nan.
You know correct them.
Do you know what? I think that, because they've got other grandparents. That
But not
look
like
they
me.
should. That's-
But not like you. They know they probably put them other grandparents and put them like, what's going on here? Like, it's something right.
I am the different grandma.
Yeah.
Of course.
But you know, it doesn't bother me that one says Nan and one says Gran. Sometimes they do get a bit cheeky and call me Jenni.
But also, you're a big woman. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
for real. And I am old enough to be a grandma, so I kind of have to accept it, and we switch it and we say glamma. Try, spice it up.
I bet
for-
you get
for the
moved to
10,000.
all the time by the young boys.
Listen.
They're just out here waiting for you.
Hungry.
Do you know what it is as well? Dress code.
Yeah.
So in schools, we dress down.
Yeah.
There's no heels or, suits and things like that. It's tracksuits, trainers, jeans.
in the schools that you work in.
Yeah. So we
to,
don't
to
work.
you, to them, you look like just a young
Someone
thing.
just coming in.
Just a young thing, just step in.
I've
you
had
know.
teachers call me out and think I'm someone in sixth form, and
Oh,
I've had to say,
sheesh.
What?
No, especially now because everyone's wearing masks in
Masks.
school.
Have you ever been asked for ID this?
Always. And believe it or not, I make my daughter pull her ID because she's 25, just to shame them.
Wow.
Just to shame them. I always say to my daughter, can you ask my daughter if she's got ID? And I stand there. Before, I used to not like it though.
No, before when you just like get to the age of no, I can get these things, and I am of the age. I used to get annoyed with them asking me.
Yeah.
No, they don't ask me. I'm getting annoyed that you're not asking me. Like ask me, like yo, I want to still look young.
You know what though? If you ask them what age does that make me, they can't tell you because they
Yeah.
actually can't calculate it. Like
No.
they don't know what age that means. If you say 82, they don't know.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. It used to bother me, but now I kind of like, now I'm getting older, I feel
Now,
like...
big up to yourself, cause like
Yeah, you look
you
good.
kept yourself looking good, and I know my woman now gonna mind this, cause my woman know you as well. So like you set levels for a lot of.
I'm looking
Oh,
because
thank
you're
you.
not going to
Ladies
be
out there.
out here.
Thank you.
Like-
You better be careful.
No,
Let
a
me
lot of
hear what you
older-
have to say.
no, a
Let
lot
me-
of older
let me-
ladies out
don't
there,
let
man.
me call Jenny sons for you, okay?
No, man, you have to look after yourself, man. So big up,
No, I
Jenny,
appreciate
man.
it.
She
Big up.
does. She
I
definitely
appreciate
does. She looks
100%,
good.
man. 100%.
I appreciate it. Imagine when I turn up to talk to parents.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're the specialist. I've had that many a times. I don't think there's anything that they can say.
Nah.
I think it's quite cool for young people to have someone like me who specialises,
Absolutely.
but has a similar background, but still looks young
Relatable.
enough.
'Cause they can that's it. They can
Yeah.
relate to you, and they feel like they're talking to somebody, like closer to their age, even
Yeah.
though you're not. But because of who you are, and you've been in the entertainment industry as well.
Yep.
Not that type of entertainment industry.
Yeah.
You know, some people are gonna be on.
You could be red.
Yeah, let's go search. I
Jenni Ray.
recognize the red hair, but I don't know about the fake. You know what I mean? But no, like you've been around in the entertainment industry, such as radio, presenting,
Yeah.
hosting events, and so on. So you're still kind of in tune with the younger generation, and I
Definitely.
feel like that's a key thing as well, because that's how you can understand them.
Definitely.
and then make them connect, because that's one thing that young people like to feel, is that they can connect with somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're on their
Yeah,
say you're on
definitely.
their wave, but we're not on your wave. We're trying to get you up to.
So that's a good segue,
Definitely.
into your work. We're talking around it, but what is it that you actually do?
So I am a young person's IDVA, which
Mm-hmm.
stands for Independent Domestic Violence Advisor. But I'm also a ISVA, which is a Sexual Violence Advisor. So I have a diploma in domestic abuse. I'm a specialist in the area of grooming, gang violence, abuse, domestic abuse at home, unhealthy relationships, and exploitation.
Where do we even begin? I mean, shout out to you for all the qualifications there that
That's
you
a
just flexed on us. You just
Listen,
brought out the receipts.
getting those qualifications
No
at
joke.
this
None.
age
Beg your
was
one, me not have
hard.
none.
Hard. But you know what? If to get into the industry the way I have, and now the project that I started is now a company. To have done that and gain respect around the table, I had to go and get those qualifications.
You do.
Because I was banging on the door for a long time.
Nothing.
And everyone kept saying, qualifications. I thought, you know what? Let me go and get these qualifications so that now when I walk in the door, it's not a question of who is she, what is this, what does she look like? There's my
Yeah, man.
qualification.
Shut them out.
So you're now a community interest company. For people who don't know what that is, just give us a little.
So for my company is called Project Yana. So we are part community-based, part funded, and part, I'd say, some may say private, but not all of the work is funded.
Yeah. I'm a community interest. I'm the same as you. So I guess the reason why we invited you down here is because something really explosive happened within the community just last week. Literally, it's still unfolding. Things are still taking place. And I think the best thing that we could do from Breadback is to make sure that we have the right people in the rooms that can actually speak to some of the elements that we may not be able to understand.
Definitely.
We're community members, but we're not professionals. And so
Yeah.
that is
Exactly.
really why we invited you down. Obviously, we both know you on a variation of levels, but I think that you're the best person to deliver some of this
And I appreciate
information.
that.
Yeah. So what I'm referring to is the incident that took place with the young girl being abducted from the street. And I'm not sure if it's alleged, so I'll say allegedly, what's the best word in here even? Like
Assaulted.
abused, potentially raped. I've seen that being thrown around a lot. I don't know if that's accurate.
I feel like from the videos that have surfaced and the information that we've got, is the camera footage showing the guy grabbing her from behind.
That's abduction, yeah.
That's abduction.
Yeah.
Taking her away, that's kidnap.
Yep.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it all falls in the same thing. Then apparently, from what the girl who intervened was saying, get away from her, what are you trying to make her do and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was something about to happen.
Yeah.
And apparently he has a record for something like this already. He's already have records for these things. So he's known. So it's not like it's a one-off. It's happened before. You know,
So let's set the scene a little bit, right? Where was you? What were you doing when this incident flooded your aura, your space, your energy.
So what I'm going to ask you guys to do, which
Yep.
is something that I'm going to mention, and I think it's important that we put trigger warnings on our videos.
Okay.
Not in the writing, on the actual video.
Okay.
I've seen people write trigger on the top on social media, but when the video is taken by other people, that trigger is gone.
Yeah.
So what I would say first off is that we need to do some sort of trigger warning, and for anyone in the future who's putting out those videos, we need to do trigger warning. I'm going to tell you why. You don't know where that video is going. You don't know who's going to see it. You don't know who has been abused, abducted, kidnapped, assaulted. You don't, for any age group, male, female, old, young, everyone in the community needs to know that the video they're about to watch, this conversation that we're about to have, may cause you to...
Trauma.
It may cause trauma. It may bring up something
Maybe traumatic.
in your past. It might be a traumatic incident that's happened. Some people don't remember traumatic incidents and something triggers it. So I'm just going to ask if we can just trigger this video and just put that, you know, we are going to be talking about...
Thank you for saying that, because I didn't even know that. And I posted a lot of the videos. And even Remi called me and said, the one where the girl is being grabbed, be careful, because you cannot see her clearly, but someone can see her, and you don't know what could come from it afterwards. And I mean, I feel like with me, it's more the anger what I had.
You're a father as well, isn't it?
I'm a father, so my anger was not even thinking, like, even when I was writing the captions, it wasn't even no thing of like trying to be political correct and write things. It was like, yo, right now, police, I don't want police to catch this man. Let the streets have him. Like, I was even having thoughts of what I want to do. Like, feel like me want to go drive around and, like, when you're having those thoughts, it's like, it's crazy. And I feel like, obviously, regardless of being a father or not, it's being a human being and seeing that this is not nice. So I throwed up the videos. I've taken them down now because obviously I posted that he got arrested and so forth. And I think they're pressing charges on him.
He actually went to court last week.
Yeah. I saw.
So, and are we allowed to say his name or anything? Because for me, it's like this is something I should have probably said before, but I was saying, are we allowed to say his name? Because for me, I don't want people to forget his name.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, and I understand the anger, and I understand the anger in the community, and we did need that video to go out.
Yeah.
But we also need to understand, not just that videos, full stop. We also need to understand that the trauma that we are causing by putting out videos, just throwing them out, not realising the further damage that we are doing. You know, some of those Black Lives Matter videos, I don't like to watch, and we're talking about the ones where the police are assaulting people in police stations and doing all of, you know, they're shooting people, murdering people in full view. Those videos need trigger warnings on them, because, you know, we've got more than enough trauma going on right now. And we have had trauma going on for many and many years in communities. We don't need any more. The trauma of those videos that will go out will not just affect the people in Mitcham, they will affect people across possibly the world.
I've seen some comments on I saw there were some comments underneath one and two of the videos I posted, and I was like, whoa, there was one lady, like, I can't remember her name, I wouldn't even say her name, but one lady stated that I hope he doesn't get arrested. I hope people actually find him. It's people like this, someone like this that killed my daughter.
Wow. Okay.
And it's like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? It's like, that's just fueling more anger. You know, there was another one who said that it happened to her when she was younger by an older man, and I hope they catch him and deal with him. You know what I mean? So it does bring back memories to some people, and you're right. And I will put you
now we're talking, and for people that are listening, they'll probably understand that if you've ever been attacked or assaulted or any of those things, those videos will raise some things up. And it's not, some people may add their comment and say it happened to me. There'll be a lot of people that still haven't told anyone, that can't even articulate it, that haven't even got to grips with it, and it can take years.
Or maybe never at all.
Sorry to cut you. Can we also why we're on the subject, have anyone seen the video page Keke put out?
No.
Talking about being molested by her mother's partner.
No.
Check it out. It's a music video. She tells her story and she breaks it down, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah. To be honest, even though we're sitting here talking about this specific incident, like, I have two comments, I guess. One is the fact that without the visibility of social media and the pressure from the community, I don't think things would have moved as rapidly as they did. I think that we're not refined enough on social media to really understand the true depths of what we do with our actions. But I also felt in that instance, it was really important that the right people like White Yardie and a plethora of other people that have heavy followings, you know, showed us what was going on, because that is really what sent waves.
Definitely.
You know, for movement, for action to take place. So that's one thing. And in the same breath, I don't even think society is ready for how many people I know that have been abused, people that have been in some really tough situations from childhood. I don't think that we're ready to really understand that the woman, the man that's sitting beside you could have experienced something so prolific.
Definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
Definitely.
The person beside you may not even have... They may not even have come to terms with what's happened to them.
Of course.
And you're wondering why this man or this woman in this relationship just can't seem to get right. And a high proportion of the time it's because they've experienced something traumatic.
100%.
I agree with you. And I think not just for that incident, but through the whole of lockdown, I don't think people can even begin, because
domestic violence.
Domestic violence. So on the other side of the work that I do, I've been National Ambassador for Domestic Violence UK for about 8 years now. So I support all of their campaigns. I try to, they have a clothing brand. We're constantly putting that out. We just done a shoot quite recently where I've created my birthday campaign every year is around domestic violence. So this year we've done a calendar with all the young people that we done a photo shoot with in the clothing, and that's going to raise money to support people over Christmas. But I don't think people can understand what families was dealing with, not just the domestic abuse, the emotional abuse, the child abuse that was going on in households, which made it very, very unsafe for a lot of young people and a lot of grown adults.
So, I mean, this conversation is very, you know, it's heavy. Because even just now sitting here thinking about all the people, all the women I've connected to, that have experienced stuff, it breaks my heart. But just, I guess, going backwards a moment, where were you when you heard this particular incident?
So last week I was in non-violence reduction training, and it was done online because the pending lockdown. So the training was like from Tuesday to Thursday. So it was a heavy week for me anyway in the training. And my phone was going off, our phone was going off. Then we're in a group that was going off. So we could kind of see it bubbling all the way through. I suppose I'm quite fortunate to be a professional that does do an element of work with the police. So some of the other work that we've just started to do is a diversion program. It's called Divert Youth, and it's with certain police stations. Our one in particular is Brixton. So it's a diversion program to divert young people from custody. So any girls that were arrested through Brixton police station during lockdown would have come through to myself. So we do have a relationship with the police.
That's
so we was
fantastic.
able to, because of what I do, I'm aware of the videos and everything that was going on, but I watched the video to an extent. I was glad to see that this young lady wasn't in the video and none of the young ladies were in the video, because
we have to big up the parent and
that,
the,
you know,
the
that is just
sisters.
another element, and one of the greatest things from that is that she was shielded for that day and maybe a couple of days, because it would have taken the school to tell everyone, then her classmates would have knew, and it just would have filtered round. But for just that 1 day, 2 days that she would have needed, and her family would have needed, for no one to know who she was in that time.
It's definitely that's the key thing.
Good thing.
How about you?
It is, because the key thing is the recovery of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because these things can traumatize you for life. Like that young girl, we don't know, she might not even can come out of her house with the fear of that. You know what I mean? And like for me, watching it, because I was getting them bits at a time as well, and people were sending them to me, sending me the updates of everything, and I was posting what I had and all this, and it was the one where she cried when she finally was away. It was that one where really I'll be honest with you, I vision myself like looking for this man and saying, I'll go prison. I would actually go prison. Because it broke my heart, man, hearing a young girl, like how scared she was. She didn't even know what to do. She was shivering.
I remember she's very young. She's like 11. So you're talking about someone who's in their first year of secondary school.
I was speaking about this as well because I've been I haven't experienced what she experienced. I'm not going to compare, but I've been so fearful before where nothing comes out.
Yeah.
And that sound, her tone, that's honestly, I was tormented.
But we have to remember with that, our brain doesn't always react the same as our
That's
body
what I mean,
when we are in trauma. And a lot of people don't understand that. And you may have heard people say that I tried to scream or make a noise.
There was nothing.
And nothing came out. And that's because the brain wants to do one thing the body wants to protect you.
But also, we don't know what was said. He could have grabbed her and said, if you speak, I'm going to stab you.
Yep.
So already she's in fear of her life as well. You understand what I mean?
But
it's
just
like
being
no one
grabbed,
knows. Yeah, come on, man.
Just being grabbed by someone. So about 10 years ago, I was assaulted, and the guy nearly broke my back from grabbing me from behind, throwing me down. And a lot of people don't know that. But if you've ever been grabbed in that way, I don't think anyone can prepare you for that. Because you're not expecting it, you're not aware, and you don't know
your brain's
what's going
not
to
thinking
happen.
that's going to happen, so I'm going to do that.
Definitely. So I do. Yeah, definitely. I think there's an element of, since that's happened to me, I'm very aware.
Yeah.
I walk with one earphone in. I'm always constantly checking, and I think one of the things that we need to take from this as a community as a whole is we need to start talking to young people more about communication.
You know what? As you say about community, keep all that right there. Yep. So I want to say a big respect to Raspek as well, because what he has done with his team that he's got, I think they're called For the Family Forces, and
they've been out patrolling the
They
school.
have been patrolling areas where schools are in the community where they know young girls are going to be walking, and just giving that reassurance that, you know what, we are out.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And it's good because at least then it's like, you know, somebody in the community is doing something for the community, and that's what we need to see as well. So big up to them, man. But back to it, so now.
Yeah, so what I think the things that we can take from this, obviously we said like the video going out and things like that, that was a highlight, but now we can see how powerful we are as a community and how powerful our social media is. And I feel like we need to share more, because even though that was an incident and it blew up, there are other incidents of this.
1 out of a million.
There are other incidents like this that have been taking place through the last couple of weeks at other schools. And it did take for the community on this occasion, but we need it to take for the community on all occasions.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that people need to share. We don't all of our children are not at the same schools. We're not in the same borough.
Yeah.
But if something happens in one borough, we need to try and find a way of sharing.
Yeah.
This has happened today at this school, just so you know, because after a while, they will go to another school and they will go to another area and it will keep following on. But if we know that an incident has happened in that area, we need to pass it on and share it.
Do you feel like the police could do more? Because, for instance, what Raspek is doing, it's not his job to do that.
No.
But it's a fact of, it's like, he knows this is his people.
Yep.
And if he don't do it, no one else is going to do it. Because, like, at my son's school, when the school is over, they have the teachers that leave they have teachers that come out of the school and
stand
go
outside.
walk. No, not even outside. They actually walk a couple streets. And there's a police that patrol that area. But that's only just that school. Now, like, for instance, in an area, there might be 5 kids from that one area that go to one school. Isn't it a thing that maybe the community there could say, hey, that girl goes to the school, that girl, that boy, I know you're different ages, but as families, we want you guys to walk together.
That's
probably what could happen. And with the police, the reason why I'm saying, could the police do more? Because, I mean, in the mornings to go to school, there's only a limited time. It's not like a whole day of them walking to school. Maybe an hour max, depending on what, some go earlier than some. And after school. So for that hour, cannot the police say, you know what, we are going to send out a couple police
Yep.
in certain areas. Just park your car, walk around, because there's a lot of kids that go to school around here. Just walk around. Don't you feel that's something they can do?
This is where the community comes in. And
I
I'm
thought
glad,
because
I'm glad, I'm
community
glad you
wardens
asked
as well,
that.
yeah.
But no, not even that. So, I don't know, 2012, 13, I became the chair of Safety Neighbourhood Board at Bellingham Police Station. And it was purely because I went to the meeting and there was people not like me sitting around the table.
Yeah.
But what happens in your local police station is that 3 priorities are chosen by the community for the police to look at. And it lasts for 3 months. Every 3 months, they sit round the table and they will choose. It might be speeding on one
Robberies.
road. It might be robberies. So what I'm saying is, as a community, there are things we can push from the sideline, but we need to be in those rooms to push it. Because if there was enough of us sitting around the table at safety neighbourhood meetings, every borough has them. Every borough has them. They are free. You can just contact police station and say you want to go down there. We need to get those things as a priority.
Yeah.
Because unless we get those things as a priority, as you said, other people are going to have to stand up and take that on, and they shouldn't have to.
But also, I think just like from a community aspect, like, okay, I'm not a mum, so, don't beat me down in the comments or whatever. But I think that there's more that we can do as a community. Like, if my child is going to school, I'm going to school to see what other mums are interested in making sure that our children are good. And so that might mean setting up a WhatsApp group. That might be a few of us getting DBS checked. That might mean, teaching the kids to look out for one another. And if they see one or another going wayward, making sure that they alert somebody to it. Do you see what I mean? Like, I think as a community, we could also do stuff, like you just said, Jen, right? They have 3 priorities.
Yep.
Your child is your priority all the time.
Yeah.
So it's our responsibility. I'm that auntie. Let me tell you, I'm the auntie. If I see you out, something looks wrong, I'm stepping in.
And we do need to go back to that, but there's an element in the community, people are scared because, aside from, we're not going through normal times right now.
Yeah.
We're going through pandemic. There's
Absolutely.
hardly anyone on the road. People's priorities have changed.
Yeah.
People have lost jobs. Some people are at home. Children and families are broken down. There's poverty. People are struggling. So we're not in normal time.
This is an anomaly,
and I think
for
maybe
sure,
outside of this normal time, we may have been able to do that. But I think right now as well, we need to understand that children are on the road more than adults, because now we're on this lockdown.
Now
we're on this lockdown. Most adults are working from home.
Yeah.
They probably not even dropping their children to school in this time, because before they were dropping them and going to work.
Yeah.
So now the family dynamics has changed. But I also feel like a working parent can't be made responsible for all of that. And what I'm going to say by that is, I was that working mum with 3 children. I didn't have the family around me. I didn't have the closest neighbours around me.
Yeah.
But for me, there was an element of time where my daughter had to take my young son to school.
Yeah.
And, I had to be at work 8:00. And she had to take him to school, and I had to make her responsible enough to take him to school.
I feel like with that, and that's something that I had a conversation about as well, is that many people don't understand, and I feel like not even many people, certain councils and governments, and they don't get this because they're not from a certain community, and they don't know these lives that actually happen, because guess what? They have the stay-at-home mom while the father goes and works. Right. So they have that mother at home that doesn't do anything more than take the kids to school, go have her coffee, and go back home.
But also there's 2 parents in that home.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So they don't know a life of a single parent, where that single parent is probably leaving the house before the child's even ready to go.
Yeah.
And that child has to go to school, come home, and maybe even look after dinner for the mother to come home. I know people like that.
Yeah.
And it's really tough, because I had that childhood. At times my mum had 2-3 jobs, and with my children I did. But I think later on I was able to get a job in the night time, which is where I done guest list nightclub door. And I could actually take my children to school, put them to bed. Someone else would come look after them, and I could go to work.
And you have done a good job.
That's
just tell you that. You have done a good job.
Thank you. But you know what? that it's really difficult because if you don't have the family, you don't have certain people around you, your
but
friends
also your
become
mentality.
your family.
Let's talk about the mentality. That takes somebody, a seriously resilient person, to be able to do all of that also. So if the person, you know, not everyone is of the same mind.
No way.
So you really have to have a lot behind you to say, you know what, every day I'm going to keep trying to do this until things change or until the kids get a little bit older and they can help themselves. Like that takes a certain type of individual in itself.
No,
It does.
You're right. You're definitely.
And when times are hard and your job is 9 to 5, your job is 9 to 5.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Flexible working.
And a lot of bosses don't understand.
You see what I'm saying? Flexible working has only just become a thing.
Can I come in at 10 because I want to drop my children to school?
No, they're not on it.
That's not a thing.
They don't
Your
get
job
them,
is 9.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Flexible working has only really become a thing in the UK in the last five-ish years. Let's be real. So all
And
before that, what does that mean?
Yeah, don't get it wrong. Parents will be thinking of those things, and they were thinking about them before.
Long time,
but because it hasn't risen up and been highlighted to them, we haven't really. It's not at the forefront right now. But this will highlight to so many mums.
Yes,
what
I'm sure plenty of mums took their kids to school the next day,
and they would still be probably doing that.
They have to, and I feel like something that any parents out there can do. I feel like what Remi said as well is get to know some of the parents.
You have
because
to.
you might even know there's a couple parents that are fortunate that their partner works and they can do the runs. You might be able to speak to that partner and say, I notice you live on my road. Do you mind? You don't have to hold hands, but can she just walk with you in the mornings? Here's my number. And just get to know and have that reassurance, because it's just safety.
Remember,
is better.
though, for primary school, that's great.
I know.
But now we're talking about secondary school.
Yeah.
So in secondary school, it changes.
Yeah.
And young people want to be more responsible.
They
They want to go,
of course.
you know, they want to go and knock for their friend on the way to school. But we can still do that. But if you, I don't know.
I guess it depends on the radius of the schools, right? So a lot of the schools are in catchment areas of your home. So children really shouldn't be traveling couple miles.
My son walks home with one of his friends because he lives like literally next road. So they walk home together. But in the morning he's go. I don't know if sometimes they meet, sometimes they don't. But however, even though my son's at the age now, I give him that little bit of responsibility because we cannot fully.
You can't baby them.
You can't do it for the whole life because then they're never ever going to be able to learn.
Yeah.
However, because of these things that are happening, you feel like you have to.
And we do have to.
But you know what it is for me now, sometimes what I do, and I know sometimes he don't like it, but sometimes he just ring him, school over, and just ring him, yo, I'm outside.
Yeah.
And
you have to also do a little roll up on them, you know.
No,
you have
I'm outside.
to switch it up a little bit.
I watch him come out of the gate, I'm just wind on the window and say, yo, jump in.
You have
and
to.
He's like, all right, cool. So the fact that he don't make a big deal about it, I like it because it shows that you're not up to anything. You understand me? If he was like, oh, dad, and can I just walk? I was like, why? I'm here. You know what I mean? So I still pop up on him and I don't let him know.
I'm all for the pop-ups.
But I just pop
all
up.
for the pop-ups.
Boom. And with my daughter now, my daughter has just started school, but she's only doing 3 days at the moment. And this is something I want to ask her because now she's at school. It's like when she's not in the house, I'm like, where it feels weird. But my concern is I hope she's all right because no, she's not in my sight.
Yes.
And the problem that I was talking about the other day with my partner is, how do you differ? Cause you know what children are like. Children can lie. Children can say things.
But they have stories, innit?
Yeah,
my youngest grandson has stories.
But
he will tell you a whole big story.
How do you, as the role that you are in, can say the word for me.
Differentiate.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you. But how do you do that with when a child comes and says, "Oh, teacher pinch me"? You know what I mean? And it's like, "Oh, I was doing this and the teacher pulled my ear." And how do you? Because me as a parent, I go to the teacher and say, "Yo, my daughter said this." Why would she say that?
You know what? Why wouldn't you?
No, but that's what I'm saying. But how do you get to the stage of, because what is like, you know what I'm
saying? But does she
say
things like that about you and her mum or her brother at home? Because if she does things like that, then you'll kind of be able to see that
she does it at home.
Just something.
But then how do you know when it's the truth?
So with the thing is, with the young people that I work with, they are referred.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a different.
To us, so it's a bit of a different scenario.
And you have a bit of context,
and we have some background on them, their family home, and their upbringing. We don't just go into school and set work, unless it's like I do workshops and I will go in and just sit with a classroom and we'll do that. But most of the young people that we work with and that I work with, it's a referral system.
And this is down to safeguarding as well, right?
Yeah. So I work with very, very high risk. So I work with young people that are at risk from sexual exploitation, criminal exploitation.
Is this to do with FMG as well?
No, the grooming. No, I don't do that side. But I have just recently found out that it's still a massive thing in the UK.
And actually I heard it this month.
Yeah, because I was in a call last week for community safety in Lambeth, and it was brought up. And I didn't even
Can you
realise
explain?
it was
Because a
still
lot of people might not know exactly what FMG is
that's
about.
a new acronym for me. I don't know what that means.
So it's
basically
female
mutilation.
Female genitalia mutilation.
So when they either stitch or cut down below, and so
it's something that comes from a culture.
Yeah, I was going to say,
but apparently in the call I was in last week, it's actually quite high back on the agenda. And I mean, we were particularly talking about Lambeth, so I can't speak for every area. But it is definitely something that still
because they
happens.
do it when they're young and they have no say in it. You understand?
A lot of it isn't even recognised until someone gets pregnant.
On it before.
Yeah, until someone's pregnant and they go to the hospital to have their checks, and then it's realised that it's happened and they have to have other things happen before they can actually have their baby.
And when you're under, when some, like if a child's under safeguarding, is that what it's called, safeguarding, right?
Yeah, well, it has different aspects. I mean, it just depends. So I'd say that one of the highest things around exploitation at the moment is criminal, and it's bank fraud. In its finest terms, it is getting young people to use their bank account to accept high amounts of money. Being very much exploited, but easy to bring them in because they will do like adverts. Easy to manipulate. We're in very hard times. You are
impressionable times.
Yep, and these adverts pop up on Snapchat a lot, and it's, do you have a bank account? Are you aged 18?
Really?
Do you want to make £500, £1,000? Get in contact with us. That is it in its simple terms, and young people are getting involved.
So you see, just say, I said, listen, that's why I've been approached by many people dropping messages saying, I'm this guy, I do this, I do
Forex
trades,
trading.
I do all this. Do you charge to do posts and stuff like this?
Please just be careful.
Yeah, listen, if you see anything online, don't care how desperate you are, you're going to put yourself in a worse situation, Do not trust anything that you see online that tells you, I can make you 10 grand in a week. They can make you or 10 grand in a week, Don't do it, But so
in all honesty, like, I suppose Snapchat is the key place because things pop up and they disappear. But don't think that they completely disappear, because if the police take your phone, it won't have disappeared.
Yeah, the police find
there is, and I think young people need to be aware of that. You think something's been deleted, but when a lot of our young people go missing and they come back, your phone will be taken, because they want to be able to check where you've been, what kind of conversations you've been having.
Yeah.
So also, what I was with the safeguarding situation there is that when a child is being referred and now under that situation, it flags, like if they were to go to the airport to travel and so on, depending on what it is, it flags up.
It's not as advanced as that, is it?
No,
it's not as advanced as that.
And safeguarding is like,
it's an area thing. So there's different
types of safeguarding as well. So safeguarding isn't just like a.
But if you're a young person that keeps going missing and you've been reported to
social
police
services,
and social services are involved and things like that, if you've been arrested, that will pop up. But for things like going to the airport, and which is why obviously the whole thing around county lines and going off to other areas, that's why it's kind of so easy, because you're going area to area.
That's a form of grooming as well.
It is.
Because it is older boys grooming the younger ones to.
It is, and also young people are exploited and manipulated to groom their friends. To come in.
Some of them are bullied into it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Like there's a thing, and today I did actually. Today I went to a school to do a talk in a school, because these were children that were during the lockdown, they didn't submit any work.
Yeah.
And also they are children that are leaving school soon, and they do get involved in certain activities that they shouldn't be involved in.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to break it down to them and say, like, I mean, you get involved in gangs, and I can tell you, I've experienced being around certain things, is that it's all a trap. You know what I mean? When I was back then, when I was younger and I was doing certain things, it was a bit different then because it's not as advanced as it is now, if I should say. Because what they do, and I just break it down, they're very friendly. Yo, oh yeah. You want to make some money? Well, that's yours. You take that,
family
you
oriented.
mash it up. You know what I mean? You mash up what they just gave you, and like, oh, did you have that for me? Oh, you said have that. No, but you have it.
Yeah.
Oh, you owe me 200 now.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you can make it back. I'm gonna send you send you somewhere. Spend a week up there and you clear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you understand it? It's so like,
and it's so
that's
simple,
the
isn't it? It's so simple.
Yeah, that's the manipulation, and unfortunately, again, we need to be having these conversations with our young people. And you know what? As parents, family members,
community
we need to be
members,
open.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We need to be open to these conversations because there's a lot of fear behind those young people.
I'll be asking though, I think too many parents are afraid of their children, and it's your child. Listen, like, there is no better person to ask them than you. When my nephew comes over to my house, I'll be in him. Like, I'll be asking questions. I'll be looking at his facial expressions. I'll be seeing how his body language changes, because that's my responsibility as an auntie, to protect him and make sure he's all right.
Yeah.
You know, I think more of us need to take time with our kids. A lot of, like,
do you know
there
what
are
it
great
is as well,
parents
though, Remi?
out there as well.
Do you know what it is as well? The way, and we talked about this just before, is that if you come from a family that wasn't asking questions, because a lot of the things we learn come from family traits and what we see and what we feel. And we are taught as a cultured community, what happens in this house
stays in this house. Yeah.
No conversations. There are an element of young people that are also being raised, don't ask me too much questions. Yeah. We're not going to talk about sex. We're not going to talk about this.
No,
we're not going to talk. But you know what? What I would say is, the earlier we start having those conversations, the better. It needs to be normal.
That is exactly, because you see, like with my partner, she has always had this thing with my son from when he was in primary school, where they would have like a tea time. And it's not like dinner, it's actual tea. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that tea. But like, they would go make themselves a hot drink, a hot chocolate. And that's their thing. I see them sit down at the table, and I leave them. Yeah. And they're conversating. And then she would just relay back the information she had. And then I know, okay, but I'm not going to tell him that I know, but I know that certain things are annoying him. And then I would try to find ways of, and that's how he said. And now, as he's getting older, I'm having these conversations with him now. Like, we're driving somewhere, and the whole drive is like, we're having this conversation, because guess what? Daddy is a male. I was a boy. Yeah. I was your age once. I know what's going through your mind at this age, even though you might not feel like I do. So we're going to have this conversation, and then we're going to break the awkwardness with it, because I would talk certain way. I'll be like, yo, so what going like for the girls and things like I have that. I talk to him like that because
you should.
And we should be, and it should be normal.
Yes, because what that does now is open him up to where he communicates a lot more, and we know what's happening. Yeah. And that's what something I always tell parents out there, and children as well, talk to each other. Yeah. Talk. If there's an issue at school, tell your mom, tell your dad. If the parents don't like, go and have a conversation. Stop making them be fearful of conversating with you. Because when you drive fear into children, they will always hide something from you.
And if the first things I say always is that, like, you can always come here. You can always talk to me. And before I even rip into him, because sometimes you have to tell them. But before I rip into him, I always say, you can talk to me. You can tell me. And if not me, you could tell this person, that person. And if you ever go anywhere and anything makes you feel uncomfortable or something feels funny, tell me.
Definitely. And you know what? A lot of parents struggle to have certain conversations with their children.
Then
and
they need to do the healing. I'm sorry. They need to do the healing, man.
You know what else I'm going to say? And I say it every time, if I do online safety, if I do anything around exploitation or anything around my work, everything you need is online.
It is. It's
there
Googleable.
Are some professionals online telling you how to talk about
Googleable.
Googleable. Yo.
Do you know what I mean? There are professionals like myself online
talking
telling
up the things.
You how to talk to your young people about healthy. We created a whole set of lives during lockdown around information from professionals, and it covers stress management, the dyslexia, ADHD, autism, PTSD, mental health, domestic abuse, how it affects children. You know, we talked about how to stay motivated.
Yeah.
We talked about going to uni, having dyslexia and coming out with your degree. And, we talked about all of those things. So we've got resources. I've got resources online, but you can tap it in. How do I talk to my son about this? How do I talk to my daughter about this? How do I bring up the subject? Everything we need is online.
Yeah.
But if not, speak to professionals and ask them, how can I bring this subject up?
Like, more work needs to be done with the adults that have these problems. At some point, you must recognize that you're doing your child a disservice. And if you don't, I hope and pray that you get a better support counsellor around you that can help you, understand where you're kind of like dropping the ball on certain things. It's our work to do. It isn't the child's work to do. One of my friends, Janelle, she tweeted, in regards to like the children's school meals and stuff, like, children don't get to decide.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't decide to be here. They didn't decide to be in this, kind of environment. It's not their choice. Yeah. It's our work to do. And don't have 10 of them if only you can only look after one. If you can only deliver for one, if you can only help yourself for one. Because all that happens, it spills out into the community. And now we have these issues of somebody getting abducted off the street, going to school. Like, she didn't even have the freedom to go to school and be safe.
That's true.
For real.
Amen.
For real.
So, Jenny.
A lot more.
Holy more, man. Lords. I like enough of the things that you said, because it's been a lot of information I've taken on and learned as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially the trigger stuff, because...
Definitely. That was something, because as I said, for me, that's something that I do react very impulsive at times. Anger.
The camera. I tried to tell him. I tried.
I did it one time as well. There was this young black boy up in Leicester, I think it was, Huddersfield, and he was getting bullied. But they were racially bullying him as well as trying to hit him. And I saw the video, and straight away I had to post it. And again, I got so much information from it about them. Like, people were just sending me stuff, and I was just posting out of anger, because, like, I hate these things. You know what I mean? Like, and obviously now I'm gonna take on board that, you know what, from now on it's true. I have to put on trigger warnings, because you don't know who is watching and what you could trigger. Yeah. You understand? And that's the main thing. So.
And also for the young person who had to endure all of what happened last week and trying to get through and be supported through that. Her and her family are not going to want to keep seeing that video.
No, definitely.
And I just think that the next time we trying to get information out and post things, we are going to, we do react in anger, but I think that we also need to actually think about it going forward. Who's this going to affect? Because, it's not just this young person. It's going to be her whole family.
What's the steps after something like this happens, though? Because this is a major learning experience, I would say, for the social media community, for us as community parents, across the board, right? Community members generally. Like, what are the next steps that need to take place for us to do better, but also to protect the next generation? What can we do?
Like what White Yardie just said about thinking about posting videos when we're angry. Remember the trigger warnings, and not just, I see people put trigger in the top part or trigger in the comments. That's not enough. Some people don't read comments. They just watch.
We know that.
Right? Some people don't read comments. So let's be real about this. If you are going to post a video and you want it to go out, make a little 30-second, just put trigger warning. Or we're going to be talking about whatever it is. Or you're going to see images about this. That's a start. I think that we need to have more conversations around safety in the community. There was all types of adverts when I was younger. I think it was Charlie Says and being safe and don't talk to strangers.
I wasn't in the country at that time.
Okay, so there used to be a string of videos.
Charlie said it says it was Trevor says so.
I'm sure it was, but it was kind of like, a young boy, and it was learning to cross the road, and it was talking to strangers, and it would also have a stranger who would come up to this child with a cat or a dog or whatever and say, do you want to see my cat? Like that kind of element. Just to kind of know that people will try to be nice to
entice you,
and entice you and show you things. Those adverts have not been around
I haven't
for
seen
a
any.
long
I haven't
time.
seen much.
But I think that we need to, you know, just let's get back to the basics. Let's talk to our young people about being safe, being aware, not being on your phone when you're walking on the road.
AirPods.
Don't put both your headphones in, have one out, so that when one is out, you're very aware.
What you just
can
said,
hear something.
what you want to just say about the headphones and the AirPods, that's a good thing, because let me tell you something, man. I know we love our children and we want to provide for them and give them everything, but there's certain things where you just have to understand, say, you don't need £150 AirPods. You don't. You do not need those. Here's some wire ones for £5. Yeah? If them break, we buy you another one for £5. You don't need them, because if you lose one, that's a lot of money you lose. And they're targeting them. There's children out there
they're
now.
being
That
robbed
don't
for
have.
them.
Remember, there's children that have them that
And
may
don't
be being
have.
robbed,
Yeah.
and there's children that don't have them that will be enticed into exploitation
And sell them.
situations.
And thief them and sell them,
Yeah.
or someone said, oh, I want them, go get them, I want this. So we just have to know that, listen, man, we want to provide for our children, but certain things that they don't need. Let's be realistic about it. They don't need it.
The basics. We need to go back to the basics.
Back to basics.
Yep, back to the basics, because that's gonna start to unfold for all of the communities, not just one. And then I think on the other side of that, we need to start having conversations with our sons about behaviour, expectation, how to talk to women, not just women on the road, how to talk to their mum, their gran, their family members, teachers. I think that we need to start
holding some boys accountable for their actions.
Definitely. And it's a conversation that we can have with girls, but we have to start having more of it with boys. And I touched on this the other day. We need to start talking about porn and that it's not real. And that's not how, that's not how relationships are built. Young people need to understand.
And big man. Let the record.
Jenni Steele said not real.
Yes.
They need to understand, because I think people will take things from watching that and think this is how a relationship is. No, we don't just walk in the room.
On a different show, not this one, different. The thoughts that I'm thinking, I don't. The things I want to say is not for this part. This one's serious.
I feel like we need a red light next time.
Definitely, man.
We do.
Listen, Jenni, can you tell the people just where them can find?
Yes.
You can find out more about me, the projects and programs, www.jenni.steele.co.uk. You can find Project Yana CIC on Instagram, Project Yana 17 on Twitter. You can tap Jenni Steele. I think I've done enough work.
You sure have.
I've done enough work. I've got
books
and
everything.
Find me. I've got books and everything.
Just in case somebody's listening, because we never know who's listening, and if they just wanted to reach out.
You know what, you can, I mean, for many, many years, my DMs are open if you need support. A lot of people contact me. I am very active on my socials. If you need support, signposting, advice, if you're a parent and you want to know how to talk to your child, I'm happy when we come out of these restrictions to start doing more stuff with parents to help you build your confidence to be able to talk to your children, because that's the kind of person that I am. That's why I'm doing this work. It's about building confidence, and with our young people, it's about showing them ways to reduce risks and harm from now to when they're older. So I'm there. You can find me. Please just drop me a message, and I will try to do whatever I can and point you in the right direction.
And just before you leave, I just want to say one, thank you, because you shared something really personal as well. And that's hard to do sometimes, isn't it? But it's important as black women, we must share. Yeah,
definitely. I think with me, I've always talked out about what I've gone through. For many people, I don't know if White Yardie knows that much, but I've always talked about my unhealthy relationship as a teenage girl, which is why I do this work, because of the position I found myself in at a young age. My mum, as good as she was about talking and having conversations, we didn't talk about relationships.
Yeah.
We need to talk about relationships. it's a must. And I know it's very difficult because if you live in a home where you know that your relationship is slightly
Strained.
toxic and there's a lot of arguments, it's very hard for you to take that on.
Absolutely.
And we just also must understand that young people are also in that environment and they are going to learn certain elements of that environment and take it into adulthood.
They absorb what they see.
Yeah.
And learned behaviour is a thing.
It. And what they see, they want to do.
Yeah.
And just before you go, I know you wasn't in the UK and you said, oh, I wasn't here for that. I was in Jamaica sitting on a wall somewhere. There is serious rape issues that happen in Jamaica. Yeah. A lot of people tell me how much young girls, high school, are constantly being targeted and raped in Jamaica. Yeah. Just FYI.
You know what, the Caribbean as a whole, and I didn't get the chance to talk about this, but I've been going back and forth. I've been going back and forth to Barbados a lot. So my dad's from Barbados, born there. And I feel like the element of work and levels that I've reached in this country, I need to take back home.
Yeah.
Around the Caribbean, there are a lot of children that are being sexually assaulted by older people.
Big man.
Definitely.
Yeah, there are a lot of issues around domestic abuse. There are a lot of issues around healthy relationships, all that stuff. And the lockdown has kind of held back some of that work.
And it is a lot of child exploitation as well, because most of the times when the parents know this is happening, or the mother or the father knows it's happening,
if they're in poverty stricken,
and that's what I'm saying. And but I can say that I do know that Jamaica is trying its best to get better at it.
Definitely.
And they're trying to, just that they deal with it a bit different when they catch one of them compared to, so I know that it is happening. We know it's happening.
Definitely. There was a massive conference in Jamaica that was led by young people this year.
Shout out to them.
Massively. And, it was children talking about being approached on their way to school, being approached in their community.
Yeah.
And it's something that is massively out there. I feel like there's a lot of work to be done in the Caribbean. I myself will be starting earlier.
It goes. You have to start from basic. So
it
actually goes back. You have to start from home.
Yeah.
And build. And big up to the artists in Jamaica that actually they're using their voices to make it be known. Yeah. We have bonfire upon them and they leave them. They kiddie fiddler them and stop it. You get me? So man.
There's a lot of work happening, but you know what? The pandemic that we're in now is gonna, as you asked about young people and services and what may or may not happen for young people when they experience this, there will be a lot of referrals for her and there'll be a lot of support.
Yeah.
How much the support's going to be now because we're doing virtual work. Also it depends on her and how she's feeling. Yeah. But I would also say to take this time that for any parents or young people that have experiences that they haven't spoken about. I know it's tough and I know this is going to raise up a lot for a lot of different people. There's so much support. Get the support that you need, even if it's you as the parent or the family member. Get that support and bring it back into your family because everyone's not going to be strong in this time and someone's going to need to be strong to build back up the whole family.
Yeah, it's such a large topic. I keep kind of zoning to one side because it's just throwing so many different things around in my mind. And when you know people that have survived these kind of incidences, you can see the fallout in their lives as adults. And that's why we must have these conversations. We must do the work. We must go back to basics.
Definitely.
We must be
transparent. And we are working, people like myself are working with young girls that are experiencing so much of that right now so that they don't reach an older age and still be trying to deal with the trauma, still be trying to deal with everything that they're going through so that they can build their confidence, build up their self-esteem, become better, become stronger, and become someone.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I'm primed for that. I've been through what I've been through.
Yeah.
You know what? I've come back strong. And it just means that your life is not over.
Yeah.
You can pick up yourself. You can be great. And we just need to make sure that young people know that. Whatever you're going through and being through, you can come through the other side. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a struggle.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having
we will
me.
be sure to add some trigger warnings to this episode to make sure that people are comfortable while viewing our content. That's it. Breadback Podcast episode 2.
Yeah.